So with any new release of a balanced patch for Marvel Rivals, there's usually some winners and losers. But in Season 5 specifically, the characters we're going to talk about today are not even losers. They're just straight up extinct. They're not even playable. At least the characters that are losers in balanced patches are at least somewhat playable and still viable. But the characters we're going to talk about today are not even playable, therefore they are extinct. Now whether it's nerfs, the meta shifting, or just being outclassed by a new character or something like that, these characters are just straight up extinct. So let's get right into it. Now, before we get started, I just want to give a big thank you to you guys for reaching 200 subscribers. This would not be possible without you guys. I love what I'm doing. I love making Marvel Rivals content, and I hope I can continue doing that with the help from you guys.
Thank you.
So with that being said, thank you so much, guys, for the support, whether it's liking, commenting, or even just viewing one of my videos. So with that being said, thank you guys so much, and let's get right into the video. So the first character we're going to talk about today is no other than Ultron. Now, Ultron didn't even receive any type of nerf or anything in this patch. They just straight up forgot him. And with that being said, he falls into the category of just the meta shifting beyond him. He didn't get any nerfs, he didn't get any buffs, but he's just outpaced by the current meta of the game. It's kind of crazy that he didn't receive any type of change, but somehow fell off the hardest in the game. Now, I believe the biggest reason he's extinct in Season 5 of Marvel Rivals is because the meta just does not favor him whatsoever. We have Angela, we have Gambit now, we have Hela Namor still being good. It's just so many other characters that can counter him or indirectly counter him now without any hesitation. I think people are sleeping on Angela right now. She is super good right now, and even before the change she got added onto the buff she got before, she was still pretty good, but they just took her to another level with the continuous buffs she's getting. She just makes flyers have a living nightmare when playing the game. But back to Ultron, his healing is so bad too. Like, all he has is his drone and his armor that he gives to people. It's like, what's even the point of him being a support character when that's all he does? I mean, yeah, his primary attack is pretty solid if you can aim, but there's just a person called Gambit now that can do everything he can, just better. But with all the divey stuff happening right now in the meta, there's just not enough time for Ultron to sustain his team through all of that. And his cooldowns don't really help this situation at all because they're either 8 or 10 seconds, I believe. And that's just not enough time in today's age of the game to where you can afford to lose that much time. Now, I don't know why they didn't include Ultron in this massive update slash balance patch. I really don't know. So with that being said, Ultron's very extinct right now because he just has no identity and he can't keep up with anything in the game right now. So therefore, he's on this list. Now, this may or may not be a controversial character, but this one is Mantis. Now, I'm just going to come with this straight out the gate. I think Gambit replaced Mantis in every single way possible. There's just no doubt about it. Gambit is the better Mantis. Gambit is Mantis 2.0. And like we talked about earlier, she's not even a loser. She's just straight up unplayable. Even if Gambit is banned, which is pretty likely because he's super S tier in my opinion, Mantis is still not the backup pick in my opinion. She's still not. Characters like Luna, Loki, Sue Storm, Rocket being better now, it's just no reason to pick Mantis. Yeah, she gets her ult fast, but it's just, what's the point? I think Sue has the fastest ultimate recharge now, which is just crazy because she gets it super fast. So in literally any situation of this game, Mantis is just not a viable pick at all, and if you pick her, you're casually throwing. I think with the current patch slash meta of the game, I think these 3 attributes contribute to a good support. Whether that's offering shields, instantly saving teammates from like burst damage or things like that, or just having good cooldown slash abilities that can turn the fight. The only thing Mantis has going for herself was her sleep, but even that is an outdated ability. So with that being said, Mantis is just kind of outdated right now. Gambit really took her spot when he got released, and even characters like him and Loki are just outshining her in every single way. So with that being said, Mantis belongs on this list of being extinct. Now moving on to the third character, we have Squirrel Girl. Now Squirrel Girl did receive a buff in this patch, but it was only a 10 damage buff. Now, does that matter in the scheme of things? No, it does not. Even if you try to use her to counter Penny or anything in this game, she's still very predictable. All you have to do is stand in the very back line of your team and just spam squirrel nuts. Her ultimate's really predictable and really easy to kill now if your team just focuses on it. So with that being said, she didn't necessarily get nerfed or anything that made her bad, but the current state of her abilities in this meta is just no point of using her. So with that being said, Squirrel Girl, she's just an extinct character right now. There's really nothing you can do on her or provide value for your team for. And everything she does, other characters with burst damage just does a lot better. So with that being said, Squirrel Girl is super extinct. Now moving on to our second to last character, this is going to be Human Torch. Now, I wish Human Torch wasn't on this list because I personally play him, but he is just so bad right now. They literally nerfed everything that made him a S tier pick back in the days. His AoE damage sucks, his primary attack sucks, the reload time is so bad. There's just nothing you can do on Johnny Storm that other DPS characters can't do. Even his missile slash charge down ability to the ground is just so bad, and it's like a 15-20 second cooldown, so it's just not even worth it anymore to do. And the amount of burst healing and other things like that in this game just makes it super impossible to even get any value off of him. Dare I say, he's the only bad flyer right now, besides Ultron. But in the DPS role, he's the only bad flyer right now in my opinion. Iron Man is super good in the right hands. Storm, she just does massive amount of value for her team, no matter what side she's on. And even with characters like Gambit being added to the game, he just doesn't really benefit from Gambit's ult. He already had a speed boost cooldown ability, and Johnny Storm's primary attack was already hard to kind of aim slash hit, so just being faster and having to move your screen around a lot faster when trying to hit these shots is just not worth it anymore. And if you're not hitting your shots, you are going to pay the price on Johnny Storm because his reload time is super bad. If you waste his cooldowns, he literally has no escape ability whatsoever, and just characters like Hela, Namor, Bucky, Punisher is really good now in my opinion. There's just no point in picking Johnny Storm because the angles you have to play on him is just super away from your team, and if you're not getting pocketed, you are going to die 24/7. At least Iron Man has a better mobility option, and Storm just has a 24/7 mobility option. So with that being said, he's just outclassed by the other flyers in this game right now, and unless he gets any type of buffs, I can see him being extinct for a very long time. Now, our fifth and final character that is officially extinct in Marvel Rivals is no other than Black Panther. Now, you might be saying, but Black Panther is still pretty good. He still runs my lobbies. Well, I'm sorry, gold player, no offense, but you need to know how to counter that. There's characters like Bucky, Mr. Fantastic's really good now. Thing is really good now. Emma's still really good. There's no reason why Black Panther should still be TTKing your team in 0.5 seconds in this current state of the game. As long as you have your focus on him, he will not get any value. So with those characters I just mentioned, it literally makes Black Panther's game a living nightmare. He literally cannot do anything because he has to get close and personal up to you to even do any damage. So if you have someone on peel duty or anything like that, Black Panther just gets no freaking value. Like I talked about in my Daredevil video, a lot of people just have better awareness now after Daredevil got released because he made you pay the price for not having it. So now that the game base has a lot more awareness when they're playing the game, Black Panther just directly got nerfed even more for that. So with that being said, as long as you're on your P's and Q's about your awareness and other things like that, Black Panther can literally not do anything. And this is just a dive thing in general, but Sue Storm having her self shield now just makes it so much harder to dive her. It's really a strong ability, and I think she needed it. And as long as her and her other support is communicating, you guys are not going to kill her or her other support. With that being said, Black Panther just has no value. He is the worst diver in the game in my opinion. So therefore, he is officially extinct and had to be put on this list. Now that is my 5 characters that are officially extinct in Marvel Rivals. Just to recap, we have Ultron, Mantis, Squirrel Girl, Human Torch, and Black Panther. Either they got super nerfed, or the game just outpaced their game style, or there's other characters that can do what they do better. So that's the reason why they are on this list. And yes, I think these are not even loser picks. These are thrower picks. So if you play any of these characters, you are throwing. Unless you're just the top 1% on that character, these are throw picks in my opinion, and you should swap immediately. Now, if you think I missed someone, drop it below in the comments, and I'd love to see what other characters you believe are just officially extinct or just losers in this current meta of the game. And with that being said, guys, thank you guys for making it this far into the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.